Activists, allies, family, and friends of Chanel Larkin gathered around the stage in MacArthur Square. They held signs with pictures of Chanel and wore shirts saying, "I am worth remembering," and "I remember." Her grandmother Carla took the stage, thanked everyone for being there, and broke down in tears. Chanel was a beautiful, funny, whip-smart 26-year-old with an incredible smile. She dropped out of high school after being bullied and put in special education classes because she was trans. She lived with her grandmother and was a beloved member of SHEBA. Her grandmother loved and looked out for Chanel and the other Black women of trans experience in SHEBA. Many of these women found sex work to be the only viable source of income, including Chanel. They could not afford to legally change their names and identification, which made traditional employment daunting, to say the least. Surgery was also difficult to afford, but many clients found their bodies highly desirable exactly as they were. Chanel assumed this to be the case with Andrew Olasoregi. On Friday, May 7, 2010, he solicited her on North 23rd Street. In the middle of their exchange of sex for money, she disclosed her trans status. Andrew, insecure about his masculinity, pulled out a gun and shot Chanel 3 times. It took Milwaukee trans activists several days to figure out that Chanel was the one murdered because the media misidentified her as a man in a dress. Veteran organizers Michael Munson and Laurie Cook Daniels sprung into action. Michael had helped start the organization Forge in 1994. Laurie joined him in 2000, and over the next several years, the scope and reach of their work expanded. After learning what happened to Chanel, they reached out to SHEBA and hosted community meetings to determine a course of action. Milwaukee's trans community and its allies organized vigils and rallies like the one at MacArthur Square. They educated the media, bringing about a positive shift not only in subsequent coverage of Chanel but all trans people. They also educated law enforcement and secured an official Milwaukee Police Department LGBTQ liaison. Mary Herrig was an out veteran officer of the force. She'd long advised the department on LGBTQ issues in an unofficial capacity and had served as a facilitator for the LGBTQ community on police issues. But perhaps the biggest impact felt by Chanel's loved ones in the broader community was in the courtroom itself. It began with changing how the prosecutor, defense attorney, judge, and defendant spoke of Chanel, and ended with a guilty plea and a lengthy sentence. In a faltering voice, punctuated with sobs, Andrew begged the forgiveness of Chanel's family and the trans community. Judge Mertens rejected his plea for leniency, noting that Andrew had shown poor judgment taking a gun with him to solicit sex, and had acted grossly out of proportion by shooting Chanel repeatedly upon learning she was trans. Citing the large number of letters submitted to the court by Milwaukee's trans community and a particularly moving letter from her grandmother, Judge Martins also referred to the strong community reaction to Chanel's killing as a factor in his lengthy sentencing.